Hi. Wow, the video quality, this is great. Um, I wanted to make a recording because I'm actually experiencing something new for me on a conscious level, which I've never explored before for myself, and I have not seen very much on it, and it's the shadow of shame, which I sat with for a little bit, and it went nowhere. It actually surprisingly went nowhere. The deeply subconscious resistance to learning more about it uh, blocked me completely, and I'm going to sit more with it because I've become much more sensitive since I began the integration process about 2 weeks ago of mainly fear. I have really become aware and paying attention to and intensifying the subtle emotions that I would have in the past floated over, really. I would have shifted these low vibrations into something positive, and I would have walked myself out of, talked myself up. I would have talked myself up so that I can be vibrating throughout the day on a much better feeling place. And that is actually a skill that I have naturally, and or that, and I've also developed it over the last decade. Um, and I used to think that floating my cork um, is the only way to go. But as I got deeper into self awareness and self work and meditation and wanting to unroot, really shift some of the bigger building blocks of what is stopping me, and with the dramatic life events that have occurred with me in the last 3 4 months, uh, which I talk about it in another video. They forced me, and it's a beautiful thing, but they forced me to um, go deeper. I had to go deeper because I realized that no matter what I do on a conscious level, it's really the subconscious that needs to get healed. So for me now, I'm really no longer interested in mantras and affirmations and manifestations of certain emotional states or energetic states, because though they're good skills to have, they really do not unroot problems, uh, in my experience. They do not make the permanent change and permanent growth spur that I was actually looking for, because I'm not interested in repeating cycles of based in fear, and now I'm discovering shame and guilt. Actually, guilt hit me yesterday or the day before that. Um, so yeah, I just really wanted to point out that guilt is really a big one that I have not personally um, encountered a lot of talk about, And just as a little example, what triggered it for me today, and very quickly, I was able to connect the dots literally throughout my lifetime of constantly feeling inadequate again, not quite fitting in to the social norms and expectations, and just sort of being scolded like a little child. And my reaction to scoldings, social scoldings, is a complete and utter surrender to the what I have so far seen superior opinion. The outside opinion has absolutely 100% for me been assumed by default as superior to mine, which now, only now, I realize it's pretty ridiculous. Um, Wait a minute, who made you right and me wrong? Who did that? Even if it's, a society of the 10 million people, it doesn't matter the number of the society that has adopted this as right or wrong, even then, it still does not make me wrong. However, of course, our survival mechanisms require us to believe that we are wrong if everybody around us tells us that we're wrong. Uh, but but to see it at work and to see the speed with which we self um, punish and yeah, allow one person's scorn, they could be having a bad day, you know. They could be, they are in fact reacting to something that's going on inside of them. They have an issue with something, lashing out at you. uh, but the majority of this a traumatic traumatic experience, the majority of this conflict and confrontation is actually done inside us, who choose to feel ashamed about it, who choose to feel like, oh, sorry, 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 I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, oh my God, I'm sorry, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, I can't believe that I did that. And I realized today I do a lot. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that. Self-shaming and self-deprecation about stupid little things. So what triggered me today was I posted on a friend's business group. Um, uh, it's an appropriate post, but I posted an advertisement for myself and for my work, telling, because her audience is a perfect audience for uh, what I was advertising, and it was a very nice post. Definitely, I know that for sure. I have no conflict there. But either way, I was sort of apparently spamming her group, and she told me so in PM, and then she also said you can do that on Fridays. You can the self promotion day is Fridays, so I deleted your post just so you know. Okay, no problem. So it's today's Friday, so I didn't want to forget because I've also been working on my follow through. So if I have tasks for the week or whatever that I want to accomplish, and one of them is promoting my services, then I wanted to make sure that I'm on top of it. So, kind of first thing in the morning, I reposted my post, and I get this message, which is, chill out. I know that you really want this. And it was kind of a little harsher than that. Um, you're in survival mode, but this is not okay, kind of thing. This is not okay. What you did is not okay, and back off. And boy, did I take that hard. Did I take that hard? It's still with me right now. It's 7 p.m. Uh, Silly, really, actually, quite silly. nobody died, nothing happened, nothing broke, nothing, it's not a big deal. And yet it is really affecting me. And I'm walking myself through it without rejecting it and without trying to run away from it and acknowledging what it is. And that's how I discovered that it wasn't guilt, or it wasn't even guilt. I thought maybe it's guilt. It's not even guilt. It's utter shame. It's shame of like, oh my God, somebody told me off. I must have done something wrong. But it was just a misunderstanding, because apparently there's a button that's going to show up on that page later on where these type of posts can be posted on Fridays. Apparently, that was not said to me in any way, or I did not understand it properly. But either way, the automatic assumption that I live with, that if I get yelled at, if I get told off in any way, the other person's right and I must be wrong. That's my automatic assumption. And that's what's wrong. That's what's not okay. Um, and I can't shake it. That's the craziest thing. I mean, I could probably, put on some dancing music and float my cork some way, but I choose not to, because I want to get to the bottom of this uh, shame and really integrate this particular shadow that stems from the original one, worthiness, belonging in the world, having a solid foundation for who I am and therefore what I do out into the world, and feeling the entitlement to defend that as needed and when needed, um, even in the face of truly doing something that can be considered wrong. Even in that higher realm of a situation, I should be able to not feel affected to my core. I cannot be I cannot be shaken by somebody's cranky opinion just because they didn't explain themselves very well. Even if it's a friend or someone that you look up to. Those are the hard ones, right? Someone you look up to tells you off. You really, or God forbid, somebody you depend on, then, for work, or caregiver, family member, someone you can't, somebody important, right? Um, so awesome, it's cool. It's very cool that I found that, and that I get to work on it, and but I wanted to make the distinction between guilt, and shame that I just caught on to today for myself, and the willingness to go through it and embrace it and do the integration work, the shadow work, as opposed to turn a blind eye. Turn a blind eye to the fact that this is happening inside of me, and that this has happened my entire life, and that it will continue to happen, where I would walk away from situations in which I can get told off. Therefore, God knows what missing on what opportunities, and especially opportunities to feel powerful, really, to not in a negative sense in any way, to really just belong, to hold my space in the world as a living as a living being, just one of everybody, but one who wants self-recognition now, one who wants to achieve self-recognition, and one who wants to achieve self-recognition and self-love. I don't want to use the word self-love, but self self what is the word I'm looking for, that I deserve, that I'm interesting. if it's even that evades me, what I'm actually like aiming for. Um, to be here, in this life, and to own my space in this life, to feel that my life is my property. It cannot randomly be trampled on. Yeah, a property line roots my space. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is. That's the best I can describe it as right now. I'm not sure if that's the proper description of what I'm feeling. Yeah, cool stuff.